April morning. My climbing rose is doing really nice. I'll put in the description what type that is. I've got a lot of potted plants that I just couldn't resist buying. And so as you see, I have them here under the cover of the patio from the hot sun to help keep them alive a little bit longer. But I just couldn't help it, and they're not ready to be planted. And our spring here in Louisiana is just so heavy with the rain. And I moved one of my potted roses. Well, actually it was in the ground, but my husband dug it up. He got tired of mowing around it and it wasn't in a good spot. So dug it up and we put it in a planter, and it has black spot pretty bad. So I've sprayed it, and now I've got it under cover, and it seems to be really helping get rid of some of that black spot. It looks a lot better than it did. Look, it's so pretty. And I'll get the name of it when I get inside. I'll put it in the description. Here's an Atlas rose that I bought, and it's in a little, I like buying them when they're in small little containers because they're a lot easier to put into the ground, a lot less digging, and I don't mind small things, and roses grow big fast, so I have no problem buying them small. My birthday tulips are just now going out. I have this climbing clematis here. I don't know what variety it is. It looks so much nicer this morning, but in the afternoon it doesn't look as great. I don't know, the color seems to, I don't know, in the bright sun it gets a little dull looking. I'm going to start digging out these amaryllis that I have all around my yard and putting them in containers. Not really quite the color that I have going on in my yard. I'm more like pinks and corally pinks and light colors. My little new Japanese maple, still a baby. Got that from Mr. Maple. That's a sunny knockout rose right there. And then I have some dianthus. They smell like cotton candy. They smell really good, and every so often you walk by and you just get a whiff of them. And you know, cotton candy is probably the best word that I can use to describe it. But that's them right there. And they have that blue green color leaf, almost like thread. They're very pretty. They do stand out, their leaf color, from all the other green that's around it. My snapdragons, they just stay in the ground all year. They actually survive really well. That one's been there probably 2 years. It's crazy. I have some phlox growing, coming back. It reseeds itself and comes back. I've got a new clematis over there that's pink that I bought, and I'm going to be putting it in the ground, but can't quite do it yet because we've had so much rain. Our clay soil, even though I'm amending it and over time it's going to get better and better, you cannot dig into our soil after it rains. It really does need to dry out because the clay is very thick, and when you do that you ruin the soil composition. I guess that might be the right way to say it, but it doesn't go back in the ground the same way it comes out. And so you don't want to dig in clay soil when it's wet. Just don't do it. Wait for it to be completely dry, or dry enough that it'll crumble into smaller particles. Don't put it back in the ground when it's clumpy. It just won't go around the roots of your plants. Your plants could actually end up drowning or dying if the roots get too dry. So just wait. Be patient and wait. I got an autumn brilliant silverberry tree that I got. It already went through its bloom. It was very pretty. Can't wait to see it next year. Can't wait to see it get some height on it. Of course, the nice, pretty Japanese holly ferns. This fence line is lined with them. Now they get full sun now. Well, this section gets full sun, and then these don't. We had a tree, a big oak tree that we had to have cut down, and it just broke my heart to do it. There's a Japanese maple, and I'll get the variety listed in the comment section. Got some heuchera, and I believe those are the peach. I'll look up the exact variety. But right now I just want to go through and get photos and video of everything before the sun pops out. I have overwintered this now. It's not a mandevilla, it's one of those Dicentria, or no, Duplantis. I'll get the real name. And it's starting to bloom. It's a tropical plant. It's not really supposed to survive our winters, but I've been keeping it in a pot, and if you can see, I have it in a pot. See that? And that's so I can just take it out real easy and not kill it, and store it over the winter. These are just bed frames, iron bed frames that I'm using temporarily for a little separation in areas. I just love hearing the birds make their noises. This is a silverberry bush. It gets huge. It's at least 10 feet, well, 8 feet tall. It can get taller though. You have to keep this beast pruned. This one I haven't pruned back yet because I need it to fill up this space just for right now. But if you look closely, I hacked back 1, 2, 3 of them. I mean, this whole back fence was just lined with this silverberry shrub. And again, it's a beast. And so I've hacked those back. And when they get a little bit more shapely, I'm going to keep them much smaller. And then I will hack this monster back right here. And that way it won't look so bad. I bought this. This is new in the ground. It is a flamethrower redbud tree. Now, do you see why I bought it? It is just so vibrant and pretty, and look at those colors. And I don't mind those colors in early spring or in fall. Now it will turn green, of course, in the summer. But for right now, I love these colors. And it is quite the statement. And can you imagine once it gets a lot larger, how glorious it's going to be? This is also new in the ground. It's a Japanese pyrrhus. I hope it does well here. This is one of the things that I'm testing out. It's back here where it does get, like, it's getting this morning sunlight. It gets bright light for sure. Morning sunlight. Now look, my neighbors, they have, well, they've got a lot going on back there, and a lot of it's wild and weedy, and it loves to come into my yard. So I need to figure out something to do, maybe put up a taller privacy fence where there is no holes. But I kind of like the airflow because, again, I'm in Louisiana where it gets very humid and hot, and so airflow is a must. And so you just don't want to stop too much of the airflow and then cause all your plants to get sickly and diseased. Look, I have little bags hidden, leaf mulch. I mulch up my leaves with my lawnmower, and then I bag them because I know the leaves that fall in my yard, they're much healthier than what I can buy from someone not knowing where they come from. I'm working on this path, this little cobblestone path, it's still a work in progress. And I haven't been out here to clean up the yard since we had a storm, so a lot of my things are falling over and need to be helped out some. But let me show you behind this bush so you can see why it's such a monstrous beast and why I can't cut it back. You see how, let me get in there. You see how it grows? And so if I was to cut all this back, it'll become like sticks. And so it just wouldn't have any pretty form. And right now, because of the full sun, it's all full on the outside part, but the inside part becomes, and it becomes kind of open. But the other thing about that, which I'm kind of torn about, is that it makes a great haven for birds. And these silverberry bushes do make fruit that the birds do eat. They are very astringent. You can eat them. They're very astringent and like dry, but you can actually boil them, I believe, and make jam with them. And I think the real name, it's a euonymus. A euonymus, it's like a variegated euonymus, but let me see if I can get a close up. The leaves have like dots, silver dots all over them, and they're very waxy, shiny, and so from afar they look silver. And then the new growth is like a lighter green, and it's so pretty. And the flowers, you can't see them, but they smell like cinnamon. You have to be close to smell it, but you can smell them. Now, I do have sprinklers in here, so this gets a lot of moisture in the summer when it gets dry. And again, I've got some Lagaria. I think this is, hold on, let me see which one this is. Spot on. Pulmonaria, I'm sorry, not Lagaria. Pulmonaria, spot on. And I plan on putting that in the ground. We'll see, it's a testing. I only have one because I want to see how it does. I don't know if it can handle our heat or not. These very vibrant, bright, chartreuse colored hydrangeas are the little honey hydrangea, oak leaf hydrangea. It does look like they have some little panicles about to bloom soon. They're forming them right now. That's some Gara right there. I had 3 of those little honey oak leaf hydrangeas. This one gets the most sun, and as you can see, it's quite larger than the other 2. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna move those or not, because I do like that big bit of pop. So I might move them up, but if I move them up, then more work for me, because if I move these up, I then need to increase my path out a little bit more, because, well, grass is not my favorite thing anyway, but I would prefer to have more garden space. I'm slowly pulling out this monkey grass. It is not a new variety. It has probably been in this ground over 30 years. It can send out little shoots over a foot, 12 inches. So you could have one plant, and then over here it sends out a little shoot. And whew, they're not hard to pull out, but they just they do spread pretty quickly. So it's something that I need to keep in check, but I have been using it in other areas for borders, and I'll just keep my spade and cut off all the little expansions of it. Now, I have a lot of junk in my yard called garden mess for a reason. This pot is over a ligustrum plant, well, shrub, and I cut it back every year, and every year it gets less and less growth. So I think it's almost fully dead, but the pot is to block out all sunlight. I have another one under there. And so anyway, that is my way of getting rid of unwanted invasive shrubs without having to spray them with harsh chemicals that can also, some chemicals that you spray can also get into the soil and get into the roots of other neighboring plants and kill them. And of course, that's not wanted, so I don't want to do that. And there's my Weigelia, Florida Weigelia. I don't remember the name or the variety, but pretty green leaves, pretty flowers. And these flowers are tubular, so hummingbirds and butterflies should like them. Which, isn't that our goal? Sorry for moving so fast there. Oh, let me see my hosta. I'm new to hostas, but I'm planting them every so often, and I don't think they're going to get as tall. These ferns get pretty tall, and I don't think I've calculated the height right, but this does get sun up here, so I'm playing with where to place all the hostas, and I might end up moving the ferns further up, or further back, I mean. I wouldn't mind having the fence line lined with the hostas, but then I won't see all the creeping vines that want to invade into my yard from the neighbor's yard.